Hey YouTube, I'm Bill Bragg from the Bill and April channel. I wanted to talk to you about the Wltoys Q303 quadcopter today. I own one. I've ordered a couple batteries for it, and one of the new batteries after I flew it one time, and I only fly them to about 4 or 5 minutes of flight. I didn't even fly it to about half of its life. It actually swelled up just a slight bit, and inside these plastic battery cases, these proprietary battery cases for the Q303, there is no room. I mean, these batteries fit in here so tight. The only thing that happens when the battery starts to swell a little bit is it actually cracks the case. Sweet, huh? So here's a battery that I got in. Like I said, just charged it one time, flew it one time. It swelled up a little bit, as you can see on that end. And when it did, it cracked the case. So to get the case apart, there's 3 screws, and if you got a small prop screwdriver or something like that for one of the toy quadcopters, they're located in each of the 4 corners. And from there, all you have to do is take a jeweler's screwdriver, because there's these 4 clips on each side, and just slide that jeweler's screwdriver up underneath that edge until you hear it just snap a little bit. Sure, make a fool out of me here. There you go. Snap. Snap. And you do that on all to all 4 of those side, both sides, all 4 snaps. And then you can, I'll snap this one back down, you'll hear it. After you do that, you can remove the top cover, and the top cover is the part that does not have the contacts on it. At least I'll call it the top cover. It does not have the contacts built into it. So if you look at a complete battery, you'll see the contacts there. So if I turn it around so that what I'm calling the top cover is on top, you'll see it pretty clearly there. So what they did, I think I just mentioned this, they actually took and glued the case. You can see it here where it's been cracked. It's actually been split down the side here quite a bit. They glued it, and I think they glued it as, you know, a rework when they were building the battery in manufacturing. And so that didn't make me too happy. So I called them, and yes, they are sending me another one. So in the meantime, I'm still wondering about this whole thing, thinking that, you know, maybe this isn't the best arrangement for batteries, that the ones it comes with. They look kind of cheap to me. I mean, they look like all the toy batteries, but they just don't look that great to me. So this battery was in here, and what I did is I cut the wires. There's 3 wires. I just cut them. So there's a red, and a black, and the white. And if you look at these things, they're not a real heavy gauge. They're like a 22 gauge, maybe 18 gauge. Definitely not a heavy gauge at all. So what are the 3 wires? Well, the 3 wires are such. This is a the 2S battery, meaning there's 2 in series, if you haven't worked with them before. And they're both 3.7 volt batteries. And when they put them in series, it makes a common point. So if you think of 2 flashlight batteries, one stacked on top of another, the common point would be where the 2 flashlight batteries make contact, and that's where this white wire is. So the white wire is common to each cell. The red wire is connected to one of the cells, and the black wire is connected to negative the other cell. So between these 2, I have 7.4 volts. Between any of those 2 in the wires, the black or the red and the white, there's a difference of 3.7 volts. So that's how they work. Now, a little thing about working with Lipo batteries. Please do not, if you've never worked with them before, don't go experimenting with them unless you are ready to have a Lipo fire or something happen, because, and look at the videos on YouTube. There's a lot of them out there. If these things accidentally short together, the contacts could weld themselves together, or the wires could actually weld themselves together a little bit, and you might not get them apart for a few seconds, and that would be a really bad thing, because the battery would probably catch fire, you know, in a matter of just seconds. If it catches fire, you're not picking it up, and it's probably going to burn for a while. So if you're in your house doing this, not good. There's a lot of videos out there that talk about how to extinguish the fires with sand and everything else. When I did this, I had a bucket and sand close by. I had a glove around and everything else. And it's, again, if you have never worked with this before, seek some help. Really what I'm doing in this video is I'm pointing out the fact that I found a replacement battery that fits in here and it works, and that's really what this video is about. So the replacement battery is here, and I don't know if it's pronounced Ta'udo. I got it on eBay. I can put the eBay link in there. I don't know how much good that's going to do you because links change all the time, but I'll try it. I can at least put in the name of the company I got it from. It's a 25C battery. For those of you new, that's how fast it can discharge. I believe the originals were 20. And you can see here that the leads are a little different arrangement than what the other battery is. So this particular battery is made for a general, RC type toy. The red and black, the 7.4 volts. I'm sorry, the output of the two batteries tied together in series, and then this small wire here with the charging port on it is, the white connector is the charging port. So when you look at that, the white wire is the common wire between the two batteries. And the red and black are just used for charging. The red is physically the same connection as the heavy red. The black is same physical connection as the heavy black wire. You don't want to try to, it'd be really easy to say, I'm going to use those thin wires because they're a lot easier to work with. I'll just solder those onto the contacts that's in the existing proprietary battery case. I wouldn't do that because these are not going to carry enough current. These are pretty small wires. So the heavy wire is a number 14 gauge. Definitely a heavier wire. So you'll also notice that if we look at the two batteries together, the one taken from the drone, I'm going to lose one of these screws here yet. You'll notice that what they've done is the arrangement of the foil looks different here. And if you look at the new one, you'll see it's got that rounded foil on the top, and it will not fit into that little case, that plastic case with that rounded foil top on it. So it's just a protectant that runs over here. So I cut it down even so that we would be able to access the connectors in here and the wires in here. So that's what I did, is I removed that on this one. And that can be seen a little bit here. I don't want to really mess this up, but that can be seen a little bit here when I pull back some tape I stuck on here. And again, I stuck tape on anything to protect it from shorting out when I was working on it, but you can get a view in there how I did that. I just sliced it back a little bit on the bottom and the top. It fit in the case. I took the red wire and I bent it back and soldered it to its terminal there. Now, a little bit about this again. I got tape over these because I don't want to short them out when I'm working on them. You cannot solder to these terminals while this is installed in the plastic case. You'll just melt the plastic case. So this is the terminal looks like right there. Red wire soldered to it. I took them out. I took the original battery, cut all three wires on it. I put tape over them so they would not short out. I take no chances. And then I removed the connectors from the original battery, and then I soldered them onto the wires from this battery. The black wire I just bent. You can't see it's kind of down at the bottom, but it just bent and it goes over to your left and comes over to this contact. The red one's over here on the right, and then I took the white charging wire and a common white charging wire, and I put it in the middle terminal. The other red and black charging wire I just cut off right at the terminals. The outside of the case, or what I call the top of the case, you'd have to look real closely here. I'll probably have to put my glasses on to even see this, but there is a marking here for positive on the right and negative on the left. So that's what you got to make sure you stick with. And these things do go in a proper position here, and they are a little fussy to solder and get your lead length right, but once you get them, it'll work. And again, I would tape everything when you're working. You don't even want a momentarily short like I could cause right here just pushing this back in. You got to be very, very careful working these. And then you get these connectors back in their position like that. And I put a little tape over it. And then I go ahead and put the cover back on the battery and screw it on. So that's about it. So hopefully this will help you out. At least it's answering a question for me, and the question for me is, hey, what happens down the road when I got these cases and these batteries are no good? What am I going to do for a replacement? And I'm hoping these batteries are better grade battery than the original ones. They certainly look like it. I think they were 2 for $20 is what I paid for them, and they were here within a couple weeks. So that's about it. I'm going to wrap it up. I wish you good luck. Again, I'll put the dimensions of the batteries and who I bought them from, the company that actually sold them to me, and the manufacturer, and any information that's pertinent to them. And hopefully that'll keep your Q303 in the air. Happy flying. Thanks for watching.